Okay, we should be going again. Hopefully we'll be able to continue with this PolitiScales thing and have it be good and have the live stream coming through. I pulled back the quality settings a little bit, and maybe that'll help. I don't know what else to do to help it other than just go into OBS and take everything down and rebuild it up from scratch, which would take like an hour. So I'm not going to go that far, but hopefully it's coming through now. Please, chat room, let me know if you see me, if I'm moving all right. Do you see my motion and everything? Are you watching it, Chris?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just see if anyone shows back up in the chat.
In all honesty, I'm actually lying down right now because, you
got COVID?
No, I'm just.
I'm kidding.
I know, like I said, I'm not a morning person, so I'm still a little tired. Plus, I sprained my ankle 2 days ago, so it's better now. But I'm still in quite a little bit of pain. So
yeah, well, you're on the West Coast, so it's 11 now. It's 8 a.m. there. So it was 7 a.m. when we started this. So
well, it's 9-ish for me. So
okay, so you're in Mountain Time then.
Yeah, Central Time, I think.
Oh, Central would be 10.
Yeah, it's almost 10, I think. But like I said, I'm not a morning person, so.
All right. I don't see anyone in the chat yet, but maybe they'll show back up in a second, and maybe it's still lagging. Like I say, I'm not really going to worry about the lagging right now. Just when you do get on and chat, when it finally does show up here, so I can see what you're saying, let me know how well you can see it. Do you see me moving? Am I freezing? Everything looks okay on my end, but then it did before. But let's go on then with the PolitiScales question number 68. Citizens should take priority over foreigners. Well, with what? That kind of assumes that there's some kind of special privilege that's being given out that shouldn't be given out. So, yeah. I'm going to say disagree. Transhumanism will be beneficial because it will allow us to improve our capabilities. There are so many different things that people mean by transhumanism.
Yeah, I can never understand what they mean. It's like, well, what do you mean by transhumanism? Do you mean making humans, biologically and genetically superior, or do you mean like some of them are like, they want to use science to make humans better, biologically and physically, while others are like, no, we got to figure out how to download our minds into AI so they can hang on to all the knowledge we've accumulated. It's like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really the download into a computer kind of guy, but yeah, let's upgrade the body with cybernetics and everything.
Yeah, I'm not against that, but yeah, I think, and I think you pointed that out, that this idea that we can put our brains in like these robots and like they'll continue on, that's actually impossible.
Well, I wouldn't say impossible. I think it would be more of a it would be more of something you kind of built up to over time. Because I mean, we have bionic limbs now, for people who've lost their limbs. Now, do you count that as transhumanism?
No, I don't know, because like I said, I can't get a straight definition out of the transhumanists.
Well, I mean, it's just saying improve our capabilities. So I think they're talking about that first definition that you were talking about there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree with that. And if you're basically talking about upgrading humans as opposed to replacing humans, GhostDog999 says take 3. Yep, we're back. All right. Humans should neither eat nor exploit animals. Gotta love that word, exploit. Disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against being mean to, I'm against being mean to animals, but we have to acknowledge that
that we're omnivores.
Yeah, we're omnivores, and animals as a whole are not sapient. So
yeah. If we find an animal that's sapient, then yeah, I would say it was wrong, and I would even go so far as to say, maybe we shouldn't do it with animals we think might be sapient, like chimpanzees, elephants, dolphins, but cows and chickens, I don't see any evidence.
Yeah, that's the thing that I hate about a lot of vegans is that they think sentience means sapient. It's like, no, every living creature is sentient to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, plants are sentient.
They can be because they sense light and they move their leaves towards it and things like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I just a little off topic, Shane, but you know, it's one thing I also never understand about vegans. It's like they don't want to hurt any kinds of animals, and I'm like, well, what about all those microscopic animals that are in your drinking water?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
there's
was
millions
back
of
in the heyday of Bloom County. There was something like that where Binkley went all that, and they ended up being hung upside down from trees wearing surgical masks in order to try to avoid. And that was the last one. We're breathing and slaughtering millions of innocent germs. So yeah.
they doing that as a joke or
No, well, I mean, it was presented as though that was really what he wanted, but then it just got so extreme, and they were like, no, come on. Let's just come down from here. We'll keep the mistreatment of animals to a minimum, but we got to live our lives here,
Yeah.
All right, it is necessary to remove regulations in labor legislation to encourage firms to hire. Absolutely, it is the number one cause of unemployment. The main goal of a couple is to make at least one child. Well, that's their decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, how do I answer a question like that?
Yeah. Actually, John Stossel brought up a pretty good point one time, when he was talking to a guy, who was against gay marriage because he talked about, how marriage should be with the intention to create children. It's like, well, I understand that, but then why do we let elderly couples who are past their fertility get married?
I'm just going to say neutral or hesitant. Minimal levels of salary should be ensured to make sure that a worker can live off of his or her work. Well, minimum wages don't work, so no.
Yeah.
Well, the actual minimum wage is always zero.
Especially if you research the history of the minimum wage and you find out it has nothing that it was all about protecting workers, but not from corporate underpaying. It was to protect them from undesirable people.
Yep. It was eugenics. Yeah. Revenues and capital should be taxed to redistribute wealth. Nope, taxation is theft. We need to establish a monarchy to federate the people and preserve our sovereignty. No monarchs.
Yeah. I laugh at those people that say, oh, but a monarch has a much better incentive, to take care of the country than a parliament does. It's like, yeah, try telling that to King Louis. I can't remember which number he was. The guy whose bad politics led to the French Revolution. Try telling that to him.
Yeah, 16th. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It is necessary to teach history in order to create a sense of belonging to the nation. Oh, God, no. Justice should always take into consideration the context and past of the condemned and adapt their penalty accordingly. Yeah, sure.
As long as it's innocent until proven guilty, and not if you're innocent, then why are we talking to you?
Nowadays, employees are free to choose when signing a contract with their future employer.
If they're talking about nowadays, I would say not really, because there's a lot of laws now. There's a lot of laws that say that.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices been taken away.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the funny irony is that a lot of laws, designed to help protect, women, minorities, and disabled people, a lot of bosses have secretly come out and said it actually makes them difficult to hire because it's like, if I hire this disabled person and their disability legitimately gets in the way of work and it's causing the company to drag and I fire him, is he going to turn around and sue me? So they're just like, nope, not going to risk it.
Not seeing anyone in the chat. Are we live? Is this actually working? I am seeing 25 frames a second. No dropped frames. I got a little green light. CPU is at 14%. Yeah. It all looks good on my end. I'm just not seeing anything from the chat. Maybe someone will type in the answer now and I'll see it 5 minutes from now. What are we saying to this? Disagree? Sexual assaults are partly caused by men's natural impulse. No, don't be an idiot.
No.
It is acceptable.
No,
Go ahead.
That's just going back to the whole, well, we got to teach men not to rape. Most men know not to rape. In fact, most rapists know not to rape, but they do it anyway. That's the reason why they're criminals. Yeah.
Well, David R. says they're up to 78 and we're just about to do 80, so they're not too far behind.
Okay.
It is acceptable that there are rich and poor people, sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, as you pointed out, even if there is, income inequality, it doesn't matter if the quality of life is good for both people because, I mean, the poor today, have never been better than the people of the past.
Yep. All right, Agony Austin says, I just joined, no problem so far. That's good to see. Thanks for that. All sciences, even chemistry and biology, are not absolute and are subject to being shaped by our society? No.
Oh, I mean, yeah, the laws, of science change, but that happens because of discovery. Like, in the past there was something we didn't know, but we know now. It's not changed because people say, well, we don't want it to be like that.
Yeah, David, if you're going to put in your opinion like disagree, yeah, you might want to say what it is you're disagreeing to. Otherwise, it might get associated with the wrong question by the time it gets through. It is not acceptable that human actions should lead to the extinction of species. I mean, extinction happens.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before a long time ago on a different podcast, but people are talking about how, oh no, only humans, are, wreak havoc on the environment. I'm like, well, no, if you look at the history of animals, almost every animal has both a positive and negative impact on the environment.
And 99% of all species went extinct long before we came around.
Oh yeah.
So extinction is just part of how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, people always talk about how humans, made these creatures go away. Well, that's going to happen with or without humans. When the dinosaurs, appeared, they made a lot of species go extinct.
Dismissals of employees should be forbidden except if it is justified. To whom?
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's a problem that's a problem we're facing today. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories of people that are stuck with really, really crappy, coworkers and whatnot. And the reason why the company doesn't get rid of them is because in some places it's illegal. It's like basically unless the employee is no call, no show, they're sexually harassing or they're doing something, illegal, you can't fire them. It's like, well, yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah, David, we made smallpox go extinct. I would say that's a good thing. So, yeah. He's a question or two behind, but the chat is. All right. Yeah, we're disagreeing with this. I mean, it's a voluntary interaction, and it only works when both sides agree. Hello, Socks. How you doing? Hey, now we'll see if a third person, if the chat can handle a third person, or will it take the live stream down like a house of cards? All right, I'm on question 84. Changing the system radically is counterproductive. We should rather transform it progressively.
What do you mean by radically?
I have no idea what this question is asking.
Because I know plenty of people. If I explain my libertarian ideals to them, it's like, whoa, dude, you can't be such a radical.
Well, I mean, what is cryptocurrency? Is cryptocurrency radical or progressive?
Yeah.
Neutral, not a bad question. The purpose of the judiciary system should be to punish those who went against the law.
No.
Well,
just kind of waiting on that one.
Yeah. I don't know how you got turned way up there, Socks.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's my end.
So that's Daniel, right?
That should be better.
Yeah, that's me, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm terrible with voices.
Yeah. Somehow you were up at 141%.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. No, it wasn't your fault. It was my end. All
right. Hey, maybe, imagine if I had done an idiot extraordinaire like that.
None of us would have any hearing left.
Yeah, the audience is now deaf.
Social differences between ethnic groups cannot be explained by biology. I guess it depends on what you mean by ethnic groups, but yeah, I mean, some of these ethnic groups are just pretty arbitrary and it's completely cultural. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily biology. It has more to do with, like, where they came from,
And how they were raised and everything, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... not to sound racist or funny and all that, I mean, a lot of Chinese people get a bad reputation because they poop in and urinate in the street. Well, the reason why they do that isn't because Chinese people are biologically programmed to do it. It's just because in China they do that all the time.
Activists must always act in strict accordance with the law. No.
Yeah, it depends on what the law is, I mean.
Yeah, that's what the Underground Railroad was doing.
Yeah, I mean, if the law, if the law allows for peaceful assembly and all that and isn't oppressive, then yeah, I can understand, wanting them to be peaceful and whatnot. But if the law says, it's illegal to talk about it, then, well, yeah, you got to break the law to do it.
One is not born, but rather becomes a woman. No.
No, you are born and whatnot, what you do to your body is up to you, but biologically speaking, you're born the gender your chromosomes came with.
Nobody is by nature predisposed to criminality. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would be.
Yeah.
Biologically, human beings are designed for heterosexuality. Well, first of all, we're not designed. We evolved.
Yeah.
And we see homosexuality in nature all over the place.
Yeah.
Heavy penalties are efficient because they are dissuasive, except they aren't. Traditions should be questioned. Sure, everything should be questioned.
Are you sure about that?
Are you questioning me?
Yes.
We are questioning the idea that everything should be questioned. There we go.
Yeah.
Trust Daniel to take us meta.
I'm the Abed of the group.
Reminds me of that time when I debunked a nihilist, when he was talking about that, and I'm like, well, the problem with nihilism, it's self-defeating because by its own definition, the nihilism has no meaning and shouldn't be taken seriously.
Transforming ecosystems durably to increase the quality of life of human beings is legitimate. Okay, sure.
About right.
It depends on what you mean by how to get there, but yeah,
yeah, I mean, not like a government, just rolling in and say, okay, we're going to make everything the way we like it. But...
yeah.
National chauvinism during sport competitions is not acceptable. What is a national chauvinism? Yeah, it's exactly the same question I had.
I think they're kind of talking about things like the FIFA champions, where a lot of countries, during the FIFA World Champions, they act like as if their countries are at war, and if their team loses, that means, oh no, we lost to this country. That means, we lost the war.
I was wondering if it had to do with the athletes taking the knee during the national anthem or something.
I don't know what it is. I mean.
All right, bad question. Neutral. Wage labor is a form of theft from the worker by companies. No.
No.
Differences of treatment and quality of life in our society show that racism is still omnipresent. I don't know about omnipresent. I mean, there are still racists around.
It's still there, but I find it tends to be in government and not in business.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to say somewhat agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just going back, here's a little quick thing. I mean, with businesses, their policy is I don't care what their skin color is, as long as their money's green, I welcome them here. Whereas with government, it's oh my god, he's got a phone, shoot him.
Nuclear fission, when well maintained, is a good source of energy. Sure.
Yeah.
It is necessary to avoid private monopoly. No, because it can't happen. Selfishness is the overriding drive in the human species, no matter the context. Well, how do you define selfishness?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do think that's true, but I do agree it's poorly worded. I would say, not to sound like, objectivist, I would say more self-interest, because the truth is everyone does something because they're getting something positive to them out of it,
I'll agree.
Yeah.
The values of my country are superior to those of other countries. Countries don't have values, individuals.
Yeah.
It is important that health should stay a public matter. By that, I think they mean, universal health care, stuff like that, government run. You see, this is how I know that they know that they're wrong, because they won't call it what it is.
Yeah.
They have to say, "Oh, it's public. Oh, it's done by all of us." Not that we're going to have it centrally managed through aggression.
Yeah, it's the same thing with schools. I like how John Stossel once said, I don't like calling them public schools because they're not public. Let's just call them what they are. They're government schools.
Looking for one's own profit is healthy for the economy. Agree. We should accept changes in our way of consuming food to limit the exploitation of nature. I love the word exploitation. They just throw it in there.
What do they mean by that? Are we gonna have to eat through our butts now? Like in that one South Park episode?
If you're eating lettuce, are you exploiting nature?
Yeah.
State-run companies should be managed like private ones and follow the logic of the market. Well, we shouldn't have state-run companies.
Yeah, because, well, as we've seen with the post office and the Federal Reserve, state-run companies don't run efficiently.
Yeah.
No, but the Federal Reserve's isn't a government agency. It's a public company masquerading as a government agency.
That's the other way around. It's the other way around.
I know, yeah. I still see that with people, like, they're always like, it's like, we shouldn't privatize the Fed, and I'm like, when was the Fed ever privatized?
It's not.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they have competition and they have to be profitable and they're not funded through taxation, then yeah. But then are they still state-run companies? The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to be protected from terrorism. Nope. Daniel didn't even need to get to the terrorism part. He just said nope.
Yeah, and if anything, it makes it even worse.
Market economy is optimal when it is not regulated. Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chat's still a bit behind. A disciple is on profit good derp, so not too far though. Maintaining strong government growth should be an objective. Maintaining strong economic growth should be an objective for the government. It's not something government does. It's something people do by interacting.
Yeah.
Government can only do it by getting out of the way.
Speaking of which, Shane, did you see that really stupid video about that one guy that posted that news article that says, I think it's time we abandon the concept of markets and whatnot? And I'm like, so basically you want humans to go extinct.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because that's all markets are. They're people going out and interacting and trading with each other.
I'm going to say neutral on this one. The police should be armed. Well, I mean, we shouldn't have police in the form that we have them today.
Which is an occupied, because historically, if we recall correctly, the policing was done by the local militias, but now it's basically a state paramilitary force.
Yeah, and the militias, had a constabulary, just a few people who would patrol. But I mean, if just someone saw, I mean, we still have this concept in some places of a citizen's arrest. You see something going on and you stop it and you call a local constable in, and then he figures it out. Technological progress must not change society too quickly. Who decides what's too quickly? Let it go.
There's a lot of vague language in these sorts of.
Yeah,
you weren't here for the worst of them, Daniel.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Schools should mostly teach our values, traditions, and fundamental knowledge. What happened to reading, writing, and arithmetic? Yeah. They're pretty much saying that schools should be institutes of indoctrination. Again, they won't just come right out and say it. They have to use flowery language.
Now, which test is this again?
PolitiScales. All right, we're in the home stretch. 111 of 117. Sabotage is legitimate under certain conditions. Well, what are you sabotaging and why?
Mm-hmm.
If the government's running in an Abrams tank to go and blow up a whole bunch of people in a compound who are just living their lives, and you want to sabotage that tank to stop it, okay, sure, because that's a defensive act. But, I mean, are they talking about more of a Luddite kind of thing?
Yeah, or are they talking about those people that think that trespass on private property and chain themselves to trees to prevent deforestation?
No, that's not really sabotage, though.
Yeah. It's still wrong, though, because it's trespassing.
All right, I'm going to go neutral on that one. Banks should remain private. Well, that implies that they are private and they're not. But, yes, banks should be private.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are technically private, but they're getting a lot of government subsidies nowadays,
Not really. Not when you have to be a member of a central bank to just operate.
Yeah.
And
I think you mentioned that in a video, that pretty much nowadays almost all banks are partially owned by the government now because, like you said, they have to have some stake within, the Federal Reserve or whatnot.
Social assistance deters people from working. Well, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
If someone's giving you money, why would you go work? Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's not just me saying that. I've seen interviews with a lot of ex-welfare people that have said, yeah, I turned down job offers because of my welfare benefits.
Well, that's just them being smart. I'm sorry, that's all it is. That's the smart decision in that scenario.
Yeah, one person told them that now. I mean, granted, yeah, they're improved now, but they did say at the time, the reason why I didn't get a job wasn't because I was lazy. It's because the majority of jobs, even, the ones that required college education, they were paying less than what the welfare system was paying me.
Yep. Multiculturalism is a threat to our society. Disagree. Offshoring and outsourcing are necessary evils to improve production. Well, I would say they aren't evils.
Not evil.
No.
Yeah, they aren't evil. That happens all the time,
It's comparative advantage again.
Yeah.
Yeah. If two countries have similar economies, social systems, and environmental norms, then the free market between them has no negative impact. Well, it doesn't anyway.
Oh.
In fact, if they are different in that ways, then the free market can only make it better.
Yeah, I think there was an essay by Voltaire who said the only time he saw Jews, Christians, and Muslims be in the same room without tearing each other's throats was at a public stock exchange.
All right, so that's agree. Last question! Yay! We've come to the end! Hopefully nothing bad will go now. All right. Abstinence should be preferred to contraception to preserve the true nature of the sexual act. Well, I don't know about the last part, but that's the thing. Abstinence first, monogamy second, and then safe sex third. That's just that's the smart way of doing it. So I don't know about this true nature of the sexual act or anything like that. Again, that's implying that there's some sort of grand design or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like going back to what you said earlier about monogamy, I understand why we do it, but the truth is, it's like, I always find it so funny, like when we hear stories about people, having flings here and there, and they act like, why would you do such a thing? It's like, well, the sad truth is that, humans are still animals at our core, and mammals like getting it on.
Oh, I mean, it's individualized. I've always been a very monogamous person. I've never cheated on anyone, and that's not really because of any moral directive. It's just because I don't want to. I'm fine.
I've been in the same relationship since 04.
Wow. Really? What's his name? I'm kidding.
No, that was oh god, what was her name? We had her on the podcast once, didn't we?
Yeah, you've met Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, is that Rika or?
No, not Rika. Rika is just a good friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. When I agree to this, it is over, and we will see what happens to me. I would make the joke about the helicopter ride again, but you know what Vicky's gonna do. apparently he, she, it, whatever made another video about that, with more slanderous remarks on me. Yeah. Okay. It's decomposed in 8 axes. Each axis indicates your positioning compared with 2 opposed ideologies. Right? So I'm pretty much on the middle between constructivism and essentialism. I don't really know what those two are. I'm more What's that?
I'm going to look that up real quick.
All right. I'm more rehabilitative than punitive. Okay. It says I'm more progressive than conservative. I guess, depending on how you define conservative. I'm more international than national. I'm way more capitalist than communist, like 86%. And this what's that?
Constructivism versus essentialism is like the difference between whether you believe something is innate in human nature, which would be essentialism, versus whether it's a social construct.
Nature versus nurture. And the thing is, sometimes it's one and sometimes it's the other.
And sometimes it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I always view nature and nurture as more databases you consult rather than strictly determinants.
Yeah. Way more laissez-faire than regulationist. Way more productivist than ecologist. And I don't really know. I guess I'm more reformist than revolutionist, but I've got this big white area in the middle. I guess I'm more of a centrist on that. Yeah. Shane a capitalist, who'd have thunk it? Yeah, I know. Big surprise there. All right. What's this weird flag going on then? It's a black flag, and it looks like it has a Nordic cross in it. That's kind of orange surrounded by yellow. And then there's a ring of stars in the upper left. How many is that? 4, 5, 6, 13 stars. I have no idea what flag that is. And it's showing my stuff again. All right. Aha. Additional characteristics. Anarchism. When the people are being hit with a stick, they are not happier if the stick is called the stick of the people. The state is an oppression that must be abolished. That sounds good to me. Be nice to know what this flag is, though. It says humanity, work, and liberty.
Maybe reverse Google image search it?
Yeah. Because it's not clickable.
Oh.
Maybe if let's see. It won't let me. I can't drag the image. I might have to screenshot it.
Yeah, you could use like what's the screenshotting tool I use?
I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to do that on a live stream. We'll figure it out later. And we've gone. This has been an hour and a half of thrills and spills, and more agony of defeat than thrill of victory. But we made it through it, everyone, and we confirmed that I'm an anarchist. So, thanks, everyone. Anyone have anything to say before we go? Guess not. It was good having you on again, Daniel.
Yeah, it was good to make it, even if it was only for a little while at the end.
Yeah. Maybe you can make on more of these.
I'll try. I'll be gone for a while, visiting some family.
Yeah.
Out of state. So.
Yeah, these next couple of weeks are going to be crazy for me. And Chris, thanks for continuing to be a regular.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm about to fall asleep. So.
Yeah. And thanks to the chat, even though this chat will be over before I actually get their reply acknowledging it. And thanks for whoever that was that pledged in the middle. I've got to fix that tiny little text there. I think I should just rebuild this OBS screen from the ground up and see what happens. But like I said, that would take an hour. So we'll see in the next live stream whether that does any good. My green screen is going away. All right. And thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone supporting. If you'd like to do so, donate to Apagosity.tv. Like, subscribe, share this video everywhere. Until next time, stay strong and be free.